Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Struther.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. Here. The lion. New man so fine. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Janae Struther.
I'm Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Fight on until we won, sons of Washington. Hey, yes! Let's go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. You know who it is. It's your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. And ladies and gentlemen, I got a treat for you today. Episode 2 of that amazing show, okay? That's Washington Football Weekly, where we break down all the news and notes about the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins, but now we are just the Washington Football Team. And ladies and gentlemen, I got a special treat for you today. I got a special treat. One of my closest and oldest friends, Will Kramer, ladies and gentlemen, joins the show. What's up, Will?
Hey.
What's
Glad
good,
to be
man?
here.
What's good? Hey, tell us something, man. Will, man, hey, I gotta let you have the floor for a second. The first show, Abs, myself, Anton, we all told why we are Washington fans. Give our fans a little bit of background.
All right. I'm a Washington fan because that is how my family got together on Sunday afternoons. You know, my sister was a diehard. She screams at the TV. My dad came from Minnesota but became a Washington fan, screaming at the TV. That's what we did Sunday afternoons. I remember going back to the late 80s, the season where Doug Williams and Mark Rippon went back and forth as starters, the 91 season, being nervous for every single game, even though not knowing they were just so much better than everybody else. And so after that, every single year, lived and breathed all 16 games every Sunday in front of the TV. And it sticks to it through my adult life. I put on the calendar, Sundays from 1 to 4, TV time, watching Washington play.
Oh yeah. Hey, I love that. Hey, that's where we are. Hey, Ab, talk to me, Ab. How you feeling today, man? How you feeling today?
I'm blessed, man. It was a little busy day today, but my kids got me through it, and I'm ready to talk football today right now, man. I it's my little release right now. I've been sipping a little bit, so yeah, I'm straight.
Okay. Oh, I like that. And listen. Last week I put something up at the end of the episode, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it up at the beginning of the episode because we're not ashamed of this. A lot of other people are dogging us, but we were the NFC East champions.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are excited about that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I will take it. Yes. Woo! Yo, and as you already know, we're in the month of February, and we to take a minute. As you know, this month is Black History Month, so we want to take a minute to recognize a member of the African American community that is part of Washington and is part of the football team that made strides to make this team, make this country, make this world a better place. And so I'm gonna start off, and actually, where did I put it? With the Black History moment, January 31st, 1988. Okay, Will just mentioned it. It was 35 years ago. What, Sunday, I think it was? I think that was the 31st. So it was 35 years ago when that. Can we just take a minute? Can we just a minute to remember?
I love it.
Get up!
This jersey I got.
Get up!
For those of you that don't know, Doug Williams was starter of the Washington Redskins. And like Will said earlier, it was a tumultuous season. It was a strike season. He went back and forth at quarterback. When they started the playoffs, he was made the starter. He had a couple good drives against Chicago in Soldier Field in the blistering cold. He had a couple good drives against Minnesota in the championship, took us to the Super Bowl. And even when he got to the Super Bowl, they were still kind of questioning his ability, questioning his maturity, asking him questions like, are you sin of quarterbacks? Or how long have you been a black quarterback? Things of that nature. But the one thing I love about him is he handled it with such class when he said, Joe Gibbs and Jack King Cook did not bring a black quarterback to Super Bowl 22. They brought a quarterback to Super Bowl 22. And just like the two of them, we plan on winning this game as me being the quarterback of this team. He handled it with class, ladies and gentlemen, and I absolutely love that. So today, we're going to honor him, man. 18 plays, 35 points in a second quarter after almost getting knocked out the game in the first quarter. Come on now. Timmy Smith, 204 yards. There it is. That's all I need to say. Let's go.
Yeah. Ricky Sanders.
God, what a game. Look, I put on one day and I was walking around and I just had the front. And somebody said there, oh, is that a Jason Campbell? I said, no. You better check the history. Don't do that. Don't do that to my man.
Get to the back and see that, bro. Come on, man.
Yo, don't do that. And, and he was one of those great quarterbacks that Washington had that just, it was a leadership. The one thing you had with Doug Williams, it was great coaching. They had an owner that would pay whatever you needed, but it was a leadership. They knew that they were leaders of this team, and they had the team behind them. Mark Rippon, best deep ball thrower at least that season, was amazing that year. But they were leaders of the team. And I got to fast forward to now, because this past season, we were struggling to find some leaders. Alex Smith, great leader.
Spence, let me cut you off real quick. You neglected to say my man was MVP of the Super Bowl too, bro. So you gotta hype that up too, man. Yeah. MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
It wasn't just kind of a flex. This man flexed all the way out on the Super Bowl. So we gotta add that little bit, but proceed, brother. Proceed.
I love that. I love that. Look, I'm gonna tell you where I am with this. I still have that game on VHS with the original commercials. Okay, all right. I still have this trophy ceremony after the game, and yes, I do watch it once a year. Let's just go out there. But you're absolutely right, Am.
You're absolutely right, bro.
Thank you. But you know what? And just the last part of Black History Month. That was one of those things for me that was almost equivalent to what some of our kids have seen with Obama going to being president. For me, that let me know I can do anything. To be a leader of the team, a leader of a franchise in the nation's capital, especially in hindsight, knowing everything that was going on in D.C. in the late 80s, to see that positive story, it still gives me goosebumps, y'all. Yeah. I still feel good about it. I still feel good. But listen, we got to move on. Look, we got to move on because for however great that story is, it almost seems like we've been cursed. And this last year, we've had to deal with a quarterback that also wore number 7, Dwayne Haskins. Now, he just got picked up. Thank God he was released by us. We'll go into this in a minute. He got picked up by the Steelers. And it begs the question, is that the end of the Dwayne Haskins saga? So Abdul, I'm gonna go right to you, man. We know how the season has been. He's been given multiple opportunities. What do you feel? Was it him? Was it the team? I mean, what is it?
So to me, I wholeheartedly feel it was the team. I'm going to be 100 about it. Ron Rivera, like, it wasn't his guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, any head coach that comes in, they want their guy. Unless they're already established as one of the greats in the league, they're going to want their guy. Haskins was only there for a year. You know what I'm saying? He only was able to play. He played okay the year prior, but I think when Ron Rivera was hired, he already had that mindset that he really just wanted his own dude in there. And and Ron Rivera even came out and said he wished he had more of a competition for the quarterback.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a favor for Dan Snyder. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, give my man a chance and everything like that. I'm not sitting there saying that Haskins was alleviated from all responsibility, but he was drafted by literally the worst quarterback team in the league. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the only other team that compares to molding, growing, developing, that's the word, developing a quarterback is the Cleveland Browns. They're the only other team that is is on our level of. I'm sorry, can I curse? Or like, I don't know, like, am I like effing up a quarterback? So effing up a quarterback, and that's our issue. Is literally we don't know how to develop as an organization. We don't know how to develop a quarterback, and if we already knew going like vetting this person as far as draft pick, like he was going to be one of our potential picks in the first round. Why did we draft him in the first place? If we already knew that he was if he was going to be a work in progress, we shouldn't have drafted him, but we did. And to me, when you draft a quarterback in the first round, you got to be patient with them. And this organization as a whole is not patient, not one bit. And to me, is like Ron Rivera needs at least probably another 2 years before he can draft a quarterback and say, I'm going to develop this guy into our franchise quarterback. Other than that, we need to pick up a free agent. And honestly, to me, it's not Haskins' fault. Like, to me, I think Haskins did the best that he could with the offensive line that we had, the team that we had. And I'm going to even say this. He played comparable to Alex Smith, but because he didn't have those wins, then all of a sudden he looks that much bad. He looks that much worse, and that's not okay. Like, why is it that Haskins, even though he has better yards per game than Alex Smith, everyone's sitting here on Alex Smith's D talking about Alex Smith is the truth like that. Alex Smith is not like, if you barely are beating out a guy that the whole nation's capital hates, how are you the dude next year? How are you that dude next year?
Gotcha. Yeah. Will?
I mean, I think, as you said, Haskins was set up to fail. As we found out, did you all hear Jay Gruden's interview this week when he said the scouts would come up with our game plan for the draft? Because he talked about how Kyle Smith just left to go to the Falcons, our former vice president of player personnel. So he said the scouts would come up with our game plan for the draft, and Snyder would come in off his yacht and make a pick for us. And he was referring to Haskins. So what he essentially was saying there was they didn't want Dwayne at number 15. They wanted Montez Sweat, and that's why they traded him to go get him, because that's who the scouts wanted. But the reason why is not because they didn't think Dwayne had a chance, but was because you had a coach on his last year of his contract. He didn't have time to bring in a rookie quarterback who Haskins was a developmental quarterback. Jay didn't have that because Jay knew if I don't win now, I'm gone. And he didn't make it 5 games before he was gone last year. So you already came in. He was in a situation that There was a franchise that wasn't ready for the type of quarterback he was. That was going to need some teaching. All right. I think he was also set up to fail by being back in DC. Did you see on draft night when they had that party? So they created a business called Haskins and Haskins Entertainment, his dad and him. So there's some influences coming in here that got in the way of him developing, I think, and got in the way of some of his study habits that we heard about. Did he really know the playbook? Did he really know enough to be out there? Or did they have to trim everything down for what can he do? So I think that was some of the problems that he had here. What strikes me, though, about that starts to feel like it turns more towards the player than the franchise is how many coaches gave up on him. Jay Gruden gave up on him. Bill Callahan did not have a lot of good things to say about him. And then most importantly, Kevin O'Connell had a chance to stay here as the offensive coordinator and groom a guy. And he left to go to the LA Rams and work under Sean McVay. And Sean McVay, we all know he's the architect of that offense. The guy who called in the plays. So if O'Connell didn't want to be with him, and then Rivera came in and Scott Turner, and they got rid of him, makes me wonder more, is there more behind the scenes that we don't know about? But I definitely agree that he wasn't brought into the right franchise. And that was unfortunate for the kid because he was not in a place to succeed.
Now, and see, now we can go, I like what y'all saying. We can go on the speculation. We have all seen the pictures. We know, him in the strip club, no mask and all that stuff. We could go on that. My question, though, and what I heard bits and pieces of from both of you guys is, did he have preparation issues? Was he distracted? And Will, I'll let you take the floor first. Was he distracted? Was he more focused on outside things outside of football? I watched one of his YouTubes where they did the rookies, how you spend your first $1 million or something like that. And he spent all this money on jewelry, all his money on clothes. Obviously, he got a house for his parents, or his mom, whatever. He took out the O-line, which is what you have to do. But then he got like a custom-made Bentley, one-of-a-kind X, Y, and Z, which most players do. But I mean, it leads you to believe, or at least to speculate, that maybe he was more focused on the limelight and that life than playing quarterback for Washington. Will, what do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would, based on the information that we have, I would tend to agree. If you remember over the offseason, he was a workout warrior, throwing bombs, shirtless, showing how he's training a little bit, but are those the routes that you're going to see in the game? Just deep. Everyone knew he has a strong arm. What strikes me is when he got, I think, suspended and then cut, you hear from some of the players, and obviously a lot of times they're really guarded, but I heard J.D. McKissick say the words, he knows what he's got to do. And then Alex Smith even said, well, he just needs to, focus on what he needs to focus on at his next location. And it's just trying to read the tea leaves of what are they saying? And the way I interpret it was, it's a preparation issue. Was wanted him to be in the building, one of the first guys in the building, setting that example. And I don't think they were. Did he know a good amount of the offense? You have to. If he's going to be out there starting, he has to. But did he know every single play where guys are supposed to be? I can't say yes. I can't say no. But it kind of sounds like he didn't take it as serious as some of the other players.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna sit here and I think we gotta change our mindset on this. Dwayne Haskins is 23, 24 years old. Which of us have been perfect at 23, 24 years old? Like in our career job, which one of us have been absolutely perfect on 23 and 24 years old.
Mhm.
Also,
Right.
like we have to also look at it as we really think Dwayne Haskins is the only player in the league that has this mentality.
No.
And that's the thing. It's like it's amplified. One, because he's in the nation's capital. Two, he's a black quarterback. Three, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like we're probably the worst team. Again, we're probably the worst team to develop a quarterback. So he's going to have all this unwanted attention on him, and everyone's going to make him a pariah and act like he is the only person in the league to ever do something like this.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Good
So
point.
we're literally, and it's because, and like, so he was caught in a strip club. And again, I'm not condoning anything that this man did, but we're literally shit on the man because he was caught in a strip club without a mask on.
Mm.
Why are we not talking about all the other players that actually had COVID? And like, we don't know exactly how they caught COVID. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, but because this man was caught in a picture with a mask off, and all of a sudden he's the worst, and he's this and he's that. I think that's unfair. I absolutely think that's unfair that we're looking at this man like a 23-year-old man at that, and saying that that he's not prepared enough, and this and this and this and that. Like, we're literally dragging this man for something that anybody, like pretty much anybody else in the league is probably already doing, and we just haven't seen pictures about it. We haven't seen them on TMZ. So it's not fair to sit there and like condemn this man for this. So I'm not approving. Again, and I want to say this. I don't think what he like just like you said. Does he know the playbook? Is he doing the right things? Maybe not. But let's really call it what it is. Honestly, he's getting this unwanted attention. We see it, and we have something to hate this man on. But he didn't catch COVID in the end. He didn't contaminate as far as we know. He didn't contaminate his teammates with COVID. But we got all these other players in the league catching COVID.
Yep.
And contaminating their players. But we're not talking about that because we don't have proof on how they caught COVID. Right. Does that make sense? Am I?
Well, it came out early in the season that one of the quarterbacks tested positive for the antibodies. And they were talking about that as like, could that help them from a standpoint of, if the quarterbacks go down, do they have somebody who can still play? They wouldn't say who. Could it have been Haskins? So while everyone was criticizing him for saying, why would you go out on a Sunday night and then come into the building on Monday when your coach is battling cancer or just recovering from cancer? Why would you expose that? What type of mindset do you have? What if it was Haskins, who kind of knew, I'm either not going to get this, or it's not going to affect me, or, I'm immune to this virus going on. Just kind of throwing out, No,
you're absolutely right. Like, in that aspect, you're absolutely right. To me, you have your coach that's battling cancer, which makes him vulnerable. He's one of the people that are vulnerable to COVID, like that will actually die if they catch COVID. And everyone that has a mind knows that. You don't think that's the reason why people are a little bit harsher on him as opposed to everyone else that's actually getting COVID, though?
Right.
Well, exactly. Well, right. And see, this is the thing. And I'm going to put up, but this could be used for anybody. I said Haskins has maturity issues, but that could be used for any young player, just like you said, Ab. My thing, and this is where I kind of want us to look at it from, as Washington fans, I'll give him last year because exactly what you guys pointed out. The coach was leaving. They didn't have time to work with him. And let's be honest, a couple of those games towards the end of the year, he didn't look bad. Compared to what he didn't look bad. And this year, I mean, you go to that Rams game, he had over 300 yards. He had a career high. He had decent. There's certain things he couldn't do, yes, but I wasn't with the pulling him at that point. But as my quarterback, once the season has gone on, once we beat Pittsburgh, once we're now in the hunt for the playoffs, my quarterback, as a fan like one of us, my mindset is, listen, if you are the guy, you need to start acting like the guy, okay? And I know, I get it. A bunch of other people and a bunch of other players, I mean, you got guys sneaking girls into the bubble. You know what I mean? You got guys sitting here and going to strip clubs and doing all other stuff. He's not the only one. I completely agree with that. But the thing that really kind of gets me is, we have the attention on us. The name is gone. Our coach has cancer. We have the starting quarterback, the one he replaced, is essentially on one leg. We have the eye and we're in DC in a Trump year. You know what I mean? Like, we had the eye of America on us. Sometimes you got to be cognizant of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes especially as the leader of this organization. And look, he didn't go to some no-name school. He went to the Ohio State University. So I expect more from him in that standpoint. But I'm going to move straight to this next question about it. And, we've talked about how we were, but we know he's with Pittsburgh. And I'm going to start with you, Will. Is Pittsburgh the answer?
So
that whole.
When this first came out, I posted on the Facebook page, and I thought it was a good move because I thought it was the right organization. And honestly, I thought, he's going to get a chance to learn from Big Ben for a year, and then Big Ben may be gone, and he might have a chance to come in as a starter. However, I'm going to change that idea because I don't think this is the Pittsburgh Steelers that we think they are and we grew up on for 15 years. If you think about who the Steelers are, and they still are the steady organization, they draft well, they're always pretty competitive. They're the organization I wish Washington could be, and they're always. But this past year, there was nothing but anger from Steeler fans over their offense and their offensive coordinator, Randy Fichtner, and they got rid of it.
Yeah.
And they promoted the guy who was there. I think he might have been the quarterbacks coach at the time, Matt Canada, who from all of him was he took over at the University of Maryland when they fired their head coach for the death of the player and the terribleness that happened all along with that. So I don't know how much development Dwayne's going to get there. And some of the coaches that used to be in Pittsburgh, you're talking Ken Wisenhunt, Bruce Arians, those were the offense coordinators when Big Ben was coming up and learning. They became head coaches. Todd Haley was there as offense coordinator. He too was a head coach, and he's been an offense coordinator. So there's talent. I don't know if Pittsburgh has that right now. So just as I'm kind of thinking in Washington, was KOC the right guy to be teaching him? Was Jay Gruden the right guy to be teaching him? Was Scott Turner, are they really quarterback gurus? Does Pittsburgh have that? And did he pick the right place to go to actually? And right now I'm going backwards saying, I don't know if Pittsburgh was the right place.
Ab, what do you think, man?
Honestly, I can't speak to that in depth as Will, my man Will. I really can't. I admit that. But the only thing I can go back on is just from black head coach and a black quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To me, when you raise and I'll call it that, raise a quarterback, you got to be patient. It's not something that you're going to do overnight and then you're all of a sudden going to it's all of a sudden going to happen.
Yeah.
We need patience. And honestly, it's just like and to me, another black man is going to be able to get through to another black man, and
Yeah.
that's okay. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's what it takes. You know what I'm saying? When I was growing up, I was in the mentor program. I didn't have my father around, so I was in the mentor program, and there was another black male, older black male, that helped me out and set me on the right way. And maybe that's what it takes in order to get Haskins squared away to on the right track. And just like he said, a year under Ben, holding the clipboard, looking at what he does right, and because can we really say Haskins had that the right way to do things? I mean, we can say, oh, Alex Smith showed him how to study the week prior, but to essentially prepare for a game, to get the mindset for a game, to actually how to treat his linemen, to how to like you know what I'm saying, how to communicate on the line. Because I don't care what anyone says, Alex Smith, I love the man. God bless this whole soul. Like I appreciate everything that he does, but you cannot tell me this man prepped this year the same way he prepped last year. You cannot tell me that this man is actually the same man as the year prior. Like you can't. And I'll even say that it's even to the way he prepares and coaches, calls out plays. Even that, I think it's just, I think it's off. I really do. And you can't teach and I'll even say this: Alex Smith was checked down Charlie this year, and how can you teach a young quarterback that doesn't have your limitations to throw down the field? How can you show him the right way to throw down the field if all you're doing is checking down?
Right. And I think that was key. That was key. What you said is that patience. It was that patience. In Washington, you're right. We didn't have that. That's where I think it'll be beneficial as long as Roethlisberger stays healthy. If there's a situation where Haskins has to come in right away, I think he might be in a similar situation to now. I definitely got to piggyback on what you said, Ab, because coming from a home that I had where I had my father there, but having that line, I mean, like you always said, Sean, you were always a good dude. There was no other option. You know what I mean? You have that person, steering you that right way. Having Tomlin in him, I think that will be a good thing because he won't. I think it'll be a respecting. It is like you said, when you have that guy, that's the black coach to the black player, there is a respect that I got to do this because if I don't do right here, then they definitely not going to give me a chance. He's vouching for me here. I have to do the right thing. But he's going to be behind Roethlisberger. He's going to be on an offense that's good. Go ahead.
I was just saying, it's just like, and maybe I'm not trying to make it like that deep or anything like that, but it's like, essentially, he's a father figure, you know what I'm saying? And like, he wants to make this man proud, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just like Ron Rivera is here, Tomlin running that organization up there, bro. Like that's that man's organization right now. You know what I'm saying? So if this man is like you said, is vouching for Haskins, this like Haskins is gonna turn it up 1,000% just for him.
Right. Yeah. And that's key. When somebody is confident in you, that unlocks so many things inside of you that you can't do, even if you're confident in yourself. When they are confident in you to do it, that works wonders. Will, you got anything else on this one?
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. I mean, I feel like Haskins, he needs to hear it from his coach. You're my guy. I want you to succeed. And I don't think through all the coaches he's been through in Washington, I don't feel he feels that way. He's ever been supported like that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
That does wonders for somebody, man.
Right. And look, at the end of the day, okay, he was still our quarterback. We still rooted for him when we played in the game. We hoped, we wished success. Yes, we got frustrated, but that's because we have such a love and a passion for this team. That's what's going to come with it. But I'm gonna let you segue later on that, Abdul, because I think a lot of that has to do, and one of the reasons why I wanted to create this show is because we are level-headed, reasonable, mature fans that will give you an honest answer. A lot of these fans, just as quickly as they were like, Haskins is the guy, we're going to the Super Bowl, it was get him out of here. Oh yeah, I want him back. Then he's trash. You know what I mean? We all look at those Redskins sites. We all see what they say. You know what I mean? So he did get an unfair rap from the community, Washington community, as well as the team. He had the cards stacked against him. Hopefully things will work better for him in Pittsburgh.
Good luck to him. Honestly, I'm rooting for him.
We got to move on. We're going on to topic number 2. I'm so glad my boy Will is on this show. He's going to give us, like you heard with the Haskins conversation, he's going to give us some in-depth looks and observations on our quarterback situation in the Dan Snyder era. I have no words for that man. I don't even want to discuss him. I thought he was going to be gone here, but he's not. So Will, talk to us, man. Lay it on us, man.
I'll tell you this. If you were having a good day and you're a Washington fan, talking quarterback history and Dan Snyder is going to absolutely ruin it. Because there's nothing good. There's nothing positive about this. Abdul, you mentioned it earlier. You talked about the Cleveland Browns situation, where that jersey.
Yes.
The sad reality is we are just like Cleveland.
Yep.
I looked it up, so I had to do a little bit of research. I knew most, but I had to do the research. In the 21 years that Snyder has been the owner, we have had 22 quarterbacks. But it's worse than that. Those are just the individual players. Of those, sometimes they played a couple times in each season. So a total of 43 quarterbacks take snaps for us in the last 21 years. And it goes beyond just backups, because every team, even the Green Bay Packers, who have gone from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, they have injuries. Matt Flynn took some snaps. So no team is going to have 2 quarterbacks in a 20-year span. You know what? Matt Castle took over that year that Tom Brady got injured. But the amount of 43 quarterbacks in 21 years is pathetic. And looking at it, we only had 5 seasons that one guy every single snap. Kirk Cousins did it 3 times most recently, and Jason Campbell did it 2 times. But shows how durable they were,
Jason Campbell.
I look back at the history, and this almost should have been the omen of the Dan Snyder era to say we need to hit pause, we need to stop. So back in 1998 was when the sale was going through. At that time, the quarterback that we had was Trent Green. All right. Now, Trent Green came out of nowhere as our 3rd-string quarterback and played great.
Yeah.
To the point where we said, we need to re-sign this guy. He needs to be our franchise quarterback. Well, because there was issues with the Howard Milstein and Dan Snyder group buying it, that fell through. Then Dan Snyder took over and bought it. The NFL would not let Washington sign Green to a big contract. Trent Green has said in an interview he was prepared to come back, but the league said you cannot sign with Washington. We need the finances of the new ownership group before we let them spend all this money. So Green had to go to the St. Louis Rams. But I remember watching TV, and George Michael interviewed who was then general manager Charlie Casserly, and he sat there with the clipboard, and he goes, "Don't worry, George, I got Plan B." He went out and got Brad Johnson as our quarterback for the 1999 season, and that was Dan Snyder's first season. And I remember that 99 season. We went all the way to the second round of the playoffs, and we were a major field goal from going to the NFC Championship game. And then Dan Turk snapped the ball into the ground. Brad Johnson fielded it and had nowhere to go with it.
I remember that.
Jeff Conway never got to be the hero. So while the season ended on a sour note, we had hope. We thought, here we go. Norv Turner has done it. We are going to be that Dallas Cowboys team that he came from. That dynasty is here in DC. And I remember 2000, very first game of the season, we played the Carolina Panthers. And Brad Johnson picked them apart on the very first drive. And when he threw a touchdown pass, he would do this little fist pump that he had.
No, you
He got
can't.
7-0. Here we go. The season's going to be great.
Ice cream
And
sandwich.
then that first game was like a preview of what's about to happen. I think we squeaked out a win. They didn't do much in the rest of the other three quarters. And that's when we started to see the turnaround of that 2000 season. That was Dan Snyder's doing. He brought in Jeff George. He brought in Dave Sanders. He brought in Bruce Smith. He brought in these guys that just kind of killed the locker room, killed what Norv was building. And that's kind of the theme of what I saw with Snyder looking back in his last 20 years is he's made decisions that our coaches didn't want. He made decisions to bring in guys at quarterback that didn't work out and weren't a part of our plan. And kind of fast forward, a couple of years there, and we get to 2010. Mike Shanahan just got named head coach. He says, we need a quarterback. Mike Shanahan wanted to bring in Mark Bolger, but Mark Bolger retired, so he was stuck. So what does Bruce Allen and Dan Snyder go do? They made a trade for Donovan McNabb. And I was driving home on Easter Sunday, and I heard it on the radio. The Washington Redskins have traded for Donovan McNabb. And I was ecstatic because all I know about Donovan McNabb is how he killed us for years. And I thought, oh my gosh, this guy's coming to Washington? This is tremendous. The coaches didn't want McNabb. They didn't feel he fit their system. I don't know what happened to him that year, but I've never seen so many inaccurate passes in my life.
Yes.
And then clearly they shipped him out. I don't know if Andy Reid just knew he had just lost it, or if it was just a bad scheme fit. But that was an example there of, Dan Snyder brought in Jeff George. Now Dan Snyder brought in Donovan McNabb. And these coaches, they didn't want him. So then we fast forward to 2012. Everyone's magical season.
Robert.
It's not that Shanahan didn't want RG3. They figured that they could do something with him, but they did admit that he wasn't necessarily their first choice as a quarterback. Actually, they really, really liked Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins. But they made the trade and they agreed to it. They said they could make it work. And honestly, though, in 2012, December 1st, if I asked you, what do you think about the trade? We were ecstatic because we thought we had our superstar for the next 10 years. Injuries and the RG3, how he failed. That's an hour-long show that we could do if we wanted.
Yeah.
And I think we all would have different opinions. But it's another example of Snyder seeing star power and going out and getting him. And it happened again later on with Alex Smith. When Kirk Cousins was leaving, and we did that whole franchise tag dance, Bruce Allen and Dan Snyder, as we know, they have big egos and low self-confidence. And so what they did is they said, I'm not going to let Kirk Cousins go out and do better than me and make me look like a fool. I'm going to go get someone else that's going to work for me. It's a big name. He went out and traded for Alex Smith. Well, did you know that Jay Gruden, the head coach who's supposed to coach this guy, did not even know that we were making that trade? Jay Gruden knew that we had scouted him. He knew that they had looked at him. But there was not a consensus among these coaches that Alex Smith was right for the team. And when you look back, that marriage of Smith and Gruden was not there. They were 6-3 going into the game. He got hurt. They were getting their butt whipped. They were going to go 6-4. Alex wasn't throwing more than 150 yards a game. It wasn't working. We may have had a good record, but we probably weren't going to win more than one or two more games if we're being honest. It was about to get really, really dark in November and December. And then it got even worse, obviously, when he got hurt. But I think what it just shows is that when it came down to Dwayne Haskins, as we just talked about, the coaches weren't really on board, and he went and did it. So there's 5 different examples right there of our owner, where it's like can we move forward if this guy keeps making these types of decisions? And it's so depressing to look at this list of how many quarterbacks we've had and who have marginal success here, or maybe we've overpaid them at the end of their career, like a Mark Brunell, to keep going on. It's really depressing to look at it. It's what makes this off season so important as they look at who's going to be the next quarterback. I asked you guys, I kind of went through some of the years and some of the bleak times. What are some of your memories of quarterbacks? And it could be you were all in on this guy, you thought he was going to be great. I mean, I was all in on Jason Campbell. I thought he was great at Auburn and he was going to be great here, and it didn't work out. Like, who stands out to you as just being like swing and a miss?
What you got, man?
Okay, to me, I just got a caveat on that. To me, this goes all about fit for our team, and honestly, I don't. To me, when we pick quarterbacks, we think, and that's what I don't like about how we look at football as a team, as an organization. We look at football, and it's just like, oh, this quarterback is going to fix us. And that's everything like that. So, but then neglect the offensive line. That's not the way to look at things. To me, it's like, oh, I'm going to draft Dwayne Haskins, but my next 4 draft picks are going to be offensive line because I know Dwayne Haskins runs slower than molasses in winter. So like it doesn't make sense that we don't look at things like that. And so to me, is as a quarterback, like you asked about the quarterback, I loved RG3. I loved it. And that was my man. Like, honestly, I never felt so excited about football in DC since RG3.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like I think we knew we had a deficiency on the offensive line, but then all of a sudden we expected RG3 was going to fix all that, so we didn't put any love into the offensive line. No, you need to get those offensive linemen that get down and dirty in the run offense, and like that's who we really needed to get, someone that is quick, like a Trent Williams, honestly. And that to me is like Trent Williams is one of the best at that. You know what I'm saying? Is like getting down and dirty and is able to continuously play past the 3-4 second 3-4 second time frame that offensive linemen are asked to protect for. And we needed to get more of those instead of just offensive linemen that are on their 5th team. That's not okay to me. And Jason Campbell had that issue also. Jason Campbell would have been a phenomenal quarterback if we would have paid attention to offensive line. Jason Campbell was the best quarterback throwing from his back. So, he was the best quarterback at that, and it just goes back to what I said. I said previously, quarterbacks come here to die, and it's sad that Jason Campbell started here because this man probably could have been a phenomenal quarterback in this league, but this was his first stop. And I'm sorry, Jason, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't develop quarterbacks well.
No, I gotta agree with you. I've bought 2 Washington jerseys in my time. One, Doug Williams, like you guys saw, and the other was number 17, a fresh, white, crisp, stitched Jason Campbell jersey. And I wore that so proudly.
Yeah.
I came out of Auburn. They had what?
Yeah.
Ronnie, what was it? Ronnie,
Ronnie Brown.
I can't think of his name. Yeah. Those two running back system. Carlos Rogers, we picked him up in that draft.
Yep.
Jason, I was like, this is it. Hey, let's go. But they didn't focus on their own line. We struggled. Jason never had the proper time to learn. They threw him right in. And that one was just, I tried to hang on with him. Even more, I feel like I tried to hang on with Jason than I did for Robert. I tried to hang on with Robert RG3 for a while. But once I saw the injury issues and then that off season and everything, I was already so just brain dead from everything else. So I didn't have the capacity to deal with that whole situation with Robert. But Jason Campbell, I was still fresh and new. I still believed like he can do it. And I'll never forget that Dallas game where he threw 4 interceptions. But even after he threw 3, we had a shot. And he's rolling out to the right. And Terrence Newman guarding. And he threw it. And I remember from the angle of it's the replay. I'm like, Jason, I can see him. Don't throw this. And you just look at his face like, oh. And I'm like, did you really not see him in front of you, Jason? I just had a flashback. Hold up. So he was the one for me, man. I wanted so much for him to do it. I didn't get on the Kirk Cousins bandwagon until late. My fiance loves him. Much respect to him. Sexy Rexy. By the time we got Sexy Rexy, I was like, hey, it is what it is. I will say, there was a guy named Beck, Mr. John Beck. I definitely, if I would have had a lot of money, I would have put it on that guy. I would have been wrong, yes, but I was like, but yeah, man, that Jason Campbell pick did it for me.
Yeah. Can we talk about the offensive? Like, didn't Jason Campbell have like 85 offensive coordinators? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, didn't he? Like, you know what I'm saying? Head coaches too?
Yeah.
Jason
Every year was
Campbell,
something different.
he came into the league as a rookie with Al Saunders' 700-page offensive playbook. You mean to tell me that he's going to learn that? And then the very next year, Gibbs retired, and they brought in Tim Zorn, who they didn't hire him as a head coach. They hired him as the offensive coordinator, which who does that? First, hire an offensive coordinator and said, we'll find you a head coach. And then you promote him because no one else wants to. I mean, we talked about Dwayne Haskins being set up to fail. Jason Campbell basically had no chance.
Not at all.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Like you said, John, sometimes staring receivers down. Sometimes he had the longest wind up to throw the ball to. That didn't work. Probably need to be tweaked. But he also didn't have someone teaching him how to do it. It doesn't seem like.
Right. And it was trial by fire. I mean, he was the guy. He knew he was the guy. There was nobody who was going to come in and do it, and he had to continue to do it. And like you said, Ab, you feel for a guy like that because you feel like if he was in another situation, that situation where maybe he could have learned, or maybe it was just a better foundation, maybe this guy dominates. Maybe we look at Jason Campbell as like, one of these guys that gets to the championship every year, or maybe has a Super Bowl ring or something like that. But the fact that he came here, and we've had such a tumultuous, 12 years you said with Snyder? Like,
21.
It's too much. I feel for him.
So long.
Yeah. It's awful. It's so depressing to look back. Almost as bad as the head coaching things is looking at the quarterback history.
It's not as bad.
Stay tuned.
Not as bad.
Hey, stay tuned next week, ladies and gentlemen, because I think we're gonna dive into that coaching thing too. It's just as awful. Hey, we're leading up to going right into the head of the problem, which, as we all know, is the owner of this team, who we was going to get axed this year with all that stuff that was going on. But we found out in America, if you have money, things seem to go away. So, it is what it is. Snyder is still the owner. But that leads me to my next point. And thank you again, Will. That It was nice going back down memory lane, but it wasn't nice. It hurt.
No.
It did hurt because that Jason Cable. I remember that game, man. I still remember the game. But so we're coming to the off season. We're going into the off season, and there are several quarterbacks that are potentially available right now. So, Ab, I'm gonna start with you, man. Is there anybody right now, and just quarterbacks? We're gonna go to the rest of the free agency and the rest of the needs and whatnot. But as far as quarterbacks that might be potential free agents, I mean, let's go as high as Watson. We go Fitzpatrick, Dak, if he doesn't get signed. Is there anybody that you think that we should get or that we could get?
So are we talking free agents or are we talking trades?
Well, right now we can go free agents, but I mean we're talking off-season moves. If we can get them through, however, let's go with it.
All right. To me, I don't think we trade for anybody. For whatever reason it is, and I have no idea, but all these quarterbacks that are asking to be traded for and shit like that, a first-round pick for them? Nah, bro. Nah, I can't see it. I just can't. I really can't. And the only person that is worth a first-round pick, he's worth multiple first-round picks, Deshaun Watson. Nah, man, I can't do it. I just can't. It's not going to happen. Like you're not about to make me handicap just because I want a franchise quarterback. Nah, bro. Like, and if that's the mentality that you're going with, you're not thinking. You got to think beyond this year. You can't just think, well, this year's it, and that's the way I'm going to go. So if everything plays out correctly, I think if Dak Prescott is there, that's who we go for. And that's if Dallas doesn't franchise tag him and then is like, we need to trade him because they're not willing to re-sign him. But if he's a free agent, if Dallas lets him walk, that's who we go after as our future and our franchise quarterback. Okay, so if that's not the case, so if Dallas signs him though, this is the unpopular opinion. And honestly, I'm ready to hear all the backlash for it. We need to sign Jameis Winston. I'm going to say it. I said it. We need to sign Jameis Winston. I said it.
No.
I said it. Like, we need to sign Jameis Winston. And to me,
are we signing Cam next? I mean, what's
up?
Are we signing Cam next? Is he going to back Jameis up? Like, what are we talking about, man?
No. Because you hear everybody talking about you need to get Allen a chance. You need to get Heineke a chance. You know what I'm saying?
DMV. You
don't give them a chance unless they're able to beat a veteran. Who's a veteran out there? Who's a veteran that's going to be on that's kind of like a cheap way, but then that's on Ron Rivera's radar. Jameis Winston, man. Look, everyone wants to shit on my man Jameis for being 30 interceptions. I give you that. 30 interceptions, that I give that. But a good coaching scenario, does Jameis Winston throw 30 interceptions? If you can teach this man to be conservative with his passes, not win every play, I'm trying to tell you, Jameis Winston also had 30 touchdowns, 33 touchdowns. He also had 5,100 yards. Yeah. So are we real? Like, honestly, everyone wants to talk about the 30 interceptions. Why isn't everybody talking about the 5,100 yards? Why isn't everyone talking about the 33 touchdowns?
Now, Al, to me, that was in that offense. Is he going to do that in our offense?
In our offense?
Got to think about. Yeah.
I think we look at capabilities. I don't look at like I get what you're saying. I don't think like in that offense that's what it is. But then it's the same thing too. Does he throw 30? Does he throw 30 interceptions in our offense? That's another question you have to ask. I don't think, to me, right coaching, you coach this man up, and he had a year behind Drew Brees. Come on, man. Like, this man has unlimited, like, we already seen what he can do. And I like, you seen my post that I said earlier. I think he's better than Eli Manning. So I like, honestly, I'm not even tripping right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even tripping. The only difference between Jameis Winston and Eli Manning is opportunity. It's opportunity. The Giants were patient with Eli, but Eli was horrible, bro. And honestly, when he got into the playoffs, yeah, he won a Super Bowl. Yeah, he beat. Yeah, I mean, he beat Tom Brady both times. Yeah. But if he was on, like, if Eli Manning was on Tampa Bay, he wouldn't even got that far. Like, if Tampa Bay's front office was there, like, in charge of Eli Manning, he wouldn't even got that far. He wouldn't even got a chance to beat Tom Brady. The fact that Jameis Winston was given up on so early, even though he did what he did with the 5,100 yards and the 33 touchdowns, it just proves to me that, that's for another conversation, but basically that's for another conversation. But the league is impatient with black quarterbacks. So I'll just say that.
I'll give you that. Will, what you got, man?
So,
Jameis. Do you have Jameis, man? Is Jameis going to be the guy?
No. And yeah, no. I would, but my reason for not going after Jameis, I'm nervous about his 30 interceptions. It's a good point. I'm nervous that if the coaches of Tampa, Bruce Arians is a quarterbacks guy, Pittsburgh Colts, Arizona Cardinals, and he's got Byron Leftwich as his offensive coordinator, who is a head coach in waiting. He probably could be a head coach right now. If they gave up on him, that's a red flag to me. But the bigger red flag is going to be, right now, it looks like Drew Brees is going to retire because he has a huge contract from NBC, I believe it is, to be an analyst. If Sean Payton is willing to give up on Jameis Winston, for me, that's enough to say if two quarterback coaches have given up on him, then maybe they're not seeing it.
Who said that they're trying to give up on him, though?
What do you mean?
I don't understand. Like, where did you get that they're trying to give up on him? Like, I heard that they're trying to re-sign him.
No, so I read that today too. If they don't, and he becomes a free agent, he's available. That would be the red flag. That if Brees retires, in New Orleans, I would think would keep him. And if they choose that no, they don't want to keep him, they'd rather go with Taysom Hill, then that's what has me worried about him.
Now look, I now real quick, I'll let you go real quick, Ab. I do think, I don't know what's going to happen in the offseason, because I've also heard that they're resigning him and that he was going to be the guy. And almost like they had that moment with Brees and Jameis on the sidelines where, Brees was kind of like, this is your team now. So that's kind of where I thought it was going. I do think it was very telling, though, that the games that Brees was out, they had Taysom Hill start instead of Jameis. I put some up on Let's Talk Football when it happened because Taysom Hill is a gimmick to me. You know what I mean? He can play, he can win games as we've seen. But to me, I would agree with you right there, Ab, where I would have gone right to Jameis. 30 interceptions, okay, but he's also throwing 30 touchdowns and over 5,000. So he's going to get it out there. If Romo can sit here and be deemed a potential Hall of Famer for doing some of that gunslinger type stuff, Jameis should have the same. I know, hey, that's a stretch. Hey, I'm good. But what I'm saying is that we saying everything here, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
But no, I think it was telling. I honestly think it was very telling that they didn't start Jameis. They started a guy that hadn't thrown a touchdown pass all year, and that's where I would count twice. Like, is there an issue there? But I think I've heard the same stories you guys have heard. I think he's going to start. Ab, I mean, talk to me. What were you thinking?
So you don't to me, we're not going to put any weight onto the 2-year, $40 million, $50 million contract that they put on Taysom Hill last year. We're not going to put any weight on that. We're not going to say anything about that. To me,
Taysom Hill is he's a big part of that offense. He is almost as much as a Kamara or a Michael Thomas because of how much they use him, how much Sean Payton uses him in his schemes and in his gimmicks. So I definitely agree that they need him. He's a big part. But if we're talking, if Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston are free agents, I'm not rushing to look at Taysom Hill. I get what they did because it worked in their system. But Taysom Hill's not a guy. Jameis, I'll overlook those 30 interceptions because I see how productive he can be. I've seen what he did at Florida State winning the national championship. I know he's got that talent. I ain't with him doing all the I'm eating a W nonsense. I'm not with all that. But if you can win a game
I just researched it, and I'm sorry. So last year they signed. So Taysom Hill was a restricted free agent or a free agent. They signed him to a 2-year, $21 million contract. Okay, for a gimmick quarterback. They signed him $21 million. And if we remember correctly, they already had Drew Brees under contract. They already had Taysom Hill under contract. And then when Tom Brady was like, okay, I'm going to go to Tampa Bay, and Jameis Winston was asked out, New Orleans was like, okay, we'll pick you up. I didn't see what his contract was, but I can guarantee you it was not $21 million.
No.
So if you commit 2 years, $21 million for a quarterback, backup quarterback position, you're going to start them, especially if you don't know if your number one quarterback is going to return the following year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
So you're going to start them to see if they it's the perfect opportunity. It's the perfect opportunity to see what they can do, if they can do the job, and then at the same time do the job at a third of the cost of everybody else in the league. And you know what I'm saying? You're going to because that's the perfect way. This is his audition. And it's not about whether you choose Jameis or Taysom Hill. It's because you literally have a better scenario this, because Jameis is only on a 1-year contract. Jameis is a free agent this year. So
another one.
So Taysom Hill is still under contract. So it's not about whether they're both free agents and you got to figure out who's next up and everything like that. Everyone's seen Jameis already. Taysom's been under the offense for how many years prior to Jameis? You get what I'm saying? To me, it's not that simple as if you can choose Taysom Hill over Jameis, and that's the concern. No, it's not. It's you really got to add the factor in. Taysom Hill is under contract. He's under a big ass contract for a gimmick player.
But now we're talking about potential trades to Washington. So that's where I brought up this. If both of them are available, who then do we get? Who would we go for? I mean, I think we all agree Jameis, right? Am I wrong?
Well, Taysom Hill is still under contract. I don't think we
No, I know. I'm just saying hypothetically.
Again, I think we should go after a free agent.
Yeah.
And if it's a free agent, I think that's the way we go. I think we go free agent, draft a quarterback, and pick up either Heineke or Allen, and have them all compete.
Okay.
And to me, and
that.
not trade for anybody. I'm not trading for nobody at all, especially this year, because it's just crazy right now. I don't understand how Derek Carr can be worth 2 first-rounders, bro.
Right.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
I'll discuss that in a minute. Go ahead, Will. Because we cannot get that guy. God.
So here we go. I'm surprised. All right, Abdul. I think the only way for us to improve at quarterback is going to be through trade. All right. I think, and I will say this, we now have in a front office that has experience evaluating players. Martin Mayhew had Matthew Stafford at #1 overall. That was a no-brainer. Marty Herney had Cam Newton at #1 overall. I don't give them the credit of saying, yeah, I'm going to pick that guy. They fell into their lap. But years of experience. Ron Rivera has years of experience in the league. If for example, Jameis Winston is a free agent and who coached against him says, yeah, no, I saw some stuff there that we can do it, I'll trust him. But I'm going to go with the fact that none of the free agents that are going to be out there are going to be better than the situation that we would be in. They really like Kyle Allen. They traded a 5th-round pick for him. I'm not that big on Kyle Allen. And then we saw everyone got excited about Taylor Heineke. So it's going to be who's better than that. Once again, on Let's Talk Football, I posted at one point that I didn't think trading for Deshaun Watson was worth it. And I'm going back on that. And if the team says that they want to pay, I will give you 3 to 4 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson.
Wow.
And I'm gonna try and see if I can change your mindset on it. Okay. Deshaun Watson.
But before you do that, I gotta hit you with the death. Does that make me crazy? Because man, come on, Will. All right, I'll give you the floor,
bro. Like
now I'm gonna give you some knowledge.
I'm the one drinking, and this dude is acting like he's been drinking. Like,
all right, you got talk to us, man. Explain this trade. I need to write this down.
Okay, so just like what the Rams just did when they traded the Rams have been trading first-round picks. Luckily, they've got a great coach. They can work around it. So if you look at Washington right now, what is the strength of our team? I asked the two of you that.
Defense.
The defensive line. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what's about to happen. They're going to re-sign Jonathan Allen because he's a leader, but he's at the end of his rookie contract. The following year after that, Daron Payne's rookie contract at the end. We got Matt Ioannidis, who's on an actually team-friendly deal for, I think, 3 or 4 more years. Okay. There's a 2-year window right now when we've got these cheap contracts for Washington to actually go for it. Does that really mean Super Bowl? But there's a 2-year window before, you're not gonna be able to keep Daron Payne around. You might not be able to keep Montez Sweat because 2 years after that you're gonna have to pay everything to keep Chase Young. So while you have a young, cheap defense that you can still improve on, you bring in Deshaun Watson. Let me ask you. So Washington finished 7-9 this year. If you had Deshaun on this year's roster, do you think he would have won 2 or 3 more games?
Yeah,
of course, at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
at least, right.
At least, okay.
Yeah. And so if I were to tell you that for the next 3 or 4 years, the worst you're going to go is 10-6. Okay. Oof. Now losing that draft position, what pick is that? If you go to the second round of the playoffs, the best draft pick you are going to have is 25th overall. All right. What if I were to tell you in year 2 after trading for Deshaun Watson, that first round pick is number 31 overall, meaning you went to the Super Bowl. You lost, but you went to the Super Bowl. As a fan, was that season worth it?
Yeah.
Do you now care that you don't have the 31st overall pick the following year?
No,
Do you care about that?
make a valid damn point. Like it's a very good ass point.
So that we value first round pick. You hear the word first round pick and you said, "Oh, no way, no way." That's because we're Washington fans and we've been picking the top 10 for how many years?
Very good point.
Yes.
Look what the Rams are doing. Look what they just gave the Lions. Okay, we're going to give you the next two. We're going to give you this. We don't have a first round pick this year, but you can take our next two. Well, guess what? They're probably not going to be into the 28th and 29th overall. You can
Exactly.
very good players. I am not going to argue against that. You can get superstars. I mean, Lamar Jackson went 32nd overall. You can get studs that are going to be on your team forever. But if you put Deshaun on Washington with Terry McLaurin, so is that his DeAndre Hopkins player? You know, you've got Antonio Gibson, who's only going to get better. This was his first year as a full-time running back. You know, you put him in, and we're the NFC East contenders, preseason contenders. You know, we're going to have a terribly hard schedule next year by winning the divisions we did, but you're going to be that much better. And the difference with Deshaun and anybody else, he's 25 years old, 5-year contract, and you could have this guy for the next 10 years. Remember how excited we were in 2012, 23? I'll tell you this.
Yes, I do.
If Washington goes out and trades for Deshaun Watson, when they came up with the new team nickname, I would buy that jersey because I think that would end up being a home run.
Yeah. Wow.
Now,
I didn't think I was going to be swayed, but sir, yeah, you
It's
can
just
represent
another
me in
way
court
to
any day, man.
what's that?
I said you can represent me in court any day, man. I know you'll sway that jury.
Now, I got two other names for you, though, through trade that I may feel a little bit better on. I would love to see them get Sam Darnold. I think it would cost a lot. I don't necessarily think that they would have to give up the first-round pick, but if it costs not one first-round pick, 19th overall this year, I would do it because he's still on his rookie contract. It's going to go up a little bit. I think he may be on his 5th-year option or he's close to it.
He's close to it.
Yeah, I would like to see him out of New York. I think he needs a fresh start. And I would be interested in that. And then the only other one, as long as the price is right, I don't like a first-round pick, but I would say that Derek Carr is an upgrade over anything else that we've got up there. I would be open to it.
I don't disagree with that. I'm gonna interject right there. My man Derek Carr, 3 seasons in a row, 4,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like not a lot of quarterbacks do that. Not a lot of quarterbacks do that. And I think Derek Carr, like he's not the mobile quarterback that you like when you think mobile quarterback, but the man got wheels. He's
elusive.
Yeah. And so I respect that. I like Derek Carr as a quarterback. Like he's under the radar. No one really looks at this man and just like, oh, he's a good quarterback. He had what they say. I read today, was it 27 touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions. Bro, like that's phenomenal, man. That's
football.
And he won't cost as much as Deshaun Watson, bro. I actually do like that, but I don't like him for 2 first-round picks. No. Like I don't like that.
No,
I don't like that. But this is what I wanted to ask you. I didn't want to interrupt you before. Is you said the only way to improve quarterback is through a trade. That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know our quarterbacks, all of them together, don't even add up to Deshaun Watson? Like it's like honestly, basically, what I'm trying to say is that to improve our quarterback position, it doesn't take much. It does not take a lot to improve our quarterback position. So essentially, Jameis Winston is an improvement of our quarterback position.
I think he would compete against Kyle Allen. I don't love Kyle Allen, but I think we need to look at what the coaches did and what they've said. They traded a 5th-round pick to get him. 5th-round pick. We drafted Cole Holcomb and Tim Settle with the 5th. You can get some starters. And then at the end of the year, they asked Ron Rivera, hey, so Alex Smith really came in and saved the season, didn't he? And Ron goes, we could have done the same with Kyle Allen. So there's a real interest there with that coaching staff with Kyle Allen. But I would hope that it's a competition. Like you said, if you bring in someone like this, I want to see him win it, beat out somebody.
But that's what I said too. Is like you bring in a free agent, you bring in a rookie quarterback. I'm not talking 1st-round rookie quarterback. Yeah. I'm talking like a Trask or a Newman or like, you know what I'm saying? One of those guys. And then you bring in Heineke or Allen because both of them are like really cheap next year. They're both restricted free agents next year. So they're very cheap next year. And then you have a full-out quarterback competition. Like you know what I'm saying? And then we go. That's our starter. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we're not breaking the bank as far as because you're talking about a 5th-round pick. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're talking about, we got Settle, we got Holcomb and everything like that. Imagine a 1st-round pick that we didn't give up. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's our middle linebacker that we need for this bullshit season. Like that was so frustrating. Yes. Like we didn't have a good middle linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like or a cornerback to fill in for Darby or Monroe. Like that's just like to me. It's like we don't give up the farm for something that we can get in free agency.
Valid. Yeah. Yep.
So look. So what I'm hearing, I'm correct. Ab, you said Jameis if we can get him, that'd be a good direction to look at, right?
Because he's cheap. He's cheap, and honestly, I think like no one else is going to like try to fight us for him.
Right. Now, Will, you said potentially for cheap, Sam Darnold, or, and I totally disagree, David Carr.
Derek Carr. Yeah.
And like I told you earlier, I'm going to talk about that guy, okay? I feel like we're hyping him up because he was on the only team to legitimately beat the Chiefs. David Carr, in my mind, is no better than Kirk, okay? Kirk's best day, Kirk Cousins threw for 4,500 yards. Kirk Cousins had these great offenses. His issue was in the red zone. But I think we're totally forgetting somebody. I like what you said, Will, about Kyle Allen, because Kyle Allen is somebody that has played under Ron Rivera. And that's what we've seen this year is Ron Rivera likes his guy.
Oh, no.
Didn't he have a couple years? Did Bridgewater play for him? Or no? I know Bridgewater could be a free agent. I think we should look that way if we're going free agent. But what I think we should do is focus. Oh, he's not a free agent this year?
No.
Sure?
No, but he might get cut by the Panthers.
Right. That's if they. That's if they pick up. If they
get Deshaun.
If they get a quarterback.
If they get a quarterback.
Yeah.
But we could make a cheap trade for him. I'm saying he's legit. My thing that I think we should do, and I'm gonna piggyback on what both of y'all said about Cole Holcomb. I think we should solidify our defense, solidify our O-line, and I think we should wait till next year and pick up Sam Howell from North Carolina. He's got 3 or 4 years under his belt. He's got a very powerful offense. We should pick up. Yeah, I see your face, Will. Yes, I'm excited about my Tar Heels. we should pick up one of those running backs, Williams or Carter from North Carolina, solid backs, and then pick up Sam Howell next year, man. I think I like going through the draft. If we can land a quarterback this year, I would like it. I think that'd be great. But at this point right now, let's solidify everything else. Every offseason, we try to find a hitter, the guy that's going to save us, and we focus on that. We don't focus on the team. Let's solidify that D-line like we've done. We got that set. Now let's solidify that O-line. Let's give whoever the quarterback is a couple more pieces. Okay? McLaurin, for however great he is, we got Logan Thomas. We got Gibson. Great. But we need to solidify those other pieces around. So I don't even think we should really focus. If we can get a trade, like the trade you talked about for Watson, if we can get that, fine. If we can pick up a Jameis and he can work on the offense, fine. But we need other pieces. And I definitely think that's something we're going to focus on next show is we got to focus on getting other pieces, getting that depth, solidifying us, because we can't be a team that is one injury away from having our whole season derailed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exactly. We're starting to have a defense. Yeah, we're starting to have a defense that can hold it down for us. You know, they shut down major offenses. So if we can get an offense that can keep the ball, hold the ball on the field, win that time of possession battle, give our defense a couple opportunities to make a play here or play there, you know what I mean? And still have future draft picks and stuff like that. We brought up the Rams. The Rams they will not have a draft pick until 2024. 7 years. But it's like you said, Will, how they played it. You know what I mean? If they're doing good, those draft picks are in the high 20s and potentially 30. You know what I mean? And so then it doesn't become such a crazy draft pick thing. So honestly, I think we need to focus. Huh?
That's a big if, though.
Right. Well, again, but hey, that's what we're here for.
Houston did the same bet, right? And effed around and got the third pick. Right. So again, we don't know how this offseason is going to play out. Like, we don't know how it's going to go, but I definitely do think that we need to focus our attention on, like we've all talked about, going back to the Haskins situation. We see what we have, and we actually give them time to have a competition, have a full off season. Let them. So, y'all thoughts? You broke up, bro.
Yeah, I couldn't hear your question.
You broke up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, basically saying I think we should go definitely focus in the draft on solidifying our depth, solidifying other pieces, getting steals and things of that nature. If we have an opportunity quarterback, that'd be great. But I definitely think that since we are a team that we all know struggles in the offseason and struggles with building our quarterbacks and having patience, let's work with what we have right now. Let's get these guys in a competition, like you were saying, and then let's beef up a team around them. So then if we get an opportunity to pick a quarterback that he can plug and play and has a team around him, it won't be some quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Got that?
Yeah.
Everybody good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
What do you think? What are you thinking, Will?
Yeah, I think the only thing is it's all about when would you get that guy? You know, we keep putting Band-Aids, you know? We've been Band-Aiding for a while, and I think Jameis Winston's a Band-Aid, you know? If you go out and get Deshaun, you're done. You got your guy for 10 years. You know, I love your idea, Sean, about Sam, but what is he going to go the next year? Is he going to be a top 5 pick? So how are you going to go get him? What is it going to take to go get him? You know, part of me just wants as a fan, and maybe though, I think we're scared because of the history I went over. we're so scared that we're going to F this up again. You know, we don't trust this front office to, you know, even though they haven't had a chance, we just, so we're looking at what is the cheapest way for us to improve.
I agree with you on that, Will. To me, I really, to me, like, because what you said earlier, it was actually profound. Like, not a lot of people look at that. Our window is very small when it comes to actually winning right now, and that's a main factor that people should really be paying attention to. To me, Allen is up for a contract first. That's who we should be trading in order to, that's who we should be trading and trying to offer for Deshaun Watson if this is ever going to happen. And Ioannidis, like he is, he signed. I don't remember, but I want to say it was like a 3-year deal. So that means this year is pretty much coming up. Is what it's like a contract year too. If I'm correct, I don't off the top of my head, I can't remember. So honestly, again, another player that should be up on the trading block at that if we're trying to pursue Watson. But to me, I think the way to go essentially is try to see if we can hit a home run in free agency at quarterback. And that's why I said what I said. Jameis Winston is the biggest ceiling, low cost that there is. He really is. Big fit. He reminds me of a more athletic Ben Roethlisberger. You know what I mean? And to me, it's just what we can do with that is astronomical, man. It really is. And then if you really want to have the other guys have a chance, Heineke, Allen, rookie quarterback, make it a competition to make everybody happy. You know what I'm saying? This is probably the most PC thing to do is to get Jameis Winston or any free agent and to draft a quarterback, not the first round, but second, third, fourth round quarterback, and then get either Allen or Heineke, whichever one that you are more fond of, and roll with and then have a open quarterback competition. To me, I think that's the best way to go. It's the most cost-effective way, and then you can focus on all the other positions on your team while you're not spending your mama and your 2 stepkids for a quarterback.
Now, Sean, you didn't bring up somebody I thought you were going to. What about following that line of inexpensive, make them earn it? What do you guys think about 2 players? Is Cam Newton done? What about the dude from Chicago?
Trubisky?
Mitchell?
No. Yeah.
You're in on him?
You say yes to Trubisky?
Me?
I don't.
Yeah. What do you think?
I do. Dude, I'm trying to tell you, man. You guys, I think people literally shit on people too fast in this league, man. Like, it's insane how we just throw away a player like too fast. Like, it's one thing if it was a Jamarcus Russell, if it was Ryan Leaf. Like, it's one thing if it was one of those players. But these guys that like I'm spitting at, that I'm sitting here propping up, they got potential. Like, honestly, does anyone ever, like, Ryan Tannehill, a coaching change, a team change? how much that changed a player.
Mm-hmm.
How are we shitting on it? Like, after watching Ryan Tannehill
Well,
switch from Miami to Tennessee and get a brand new contract like he's a premium quarterback, and how are we shitting on players like it's not, like that can't happen again?
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And now, what I will say, and I agree with that on Tannehill, he's definitely in that conversation of comeback of the year because how he played this year was amazing. But the other part of that is that we can't overlook that Derrick Henry in the backfield, and that's the big difference. And then having AJ Brown and having that team, but it's that new environment, and he has this new feel. First off, I'll say Cam. I don't think Cam is done. Personally, I don't want him in Washington. I don't think he's done though. I think he still has some playing days for the right team. Maybe even New England if they keep him, because I feel like half their team was sat out this year. So the fact that he was 6-10 or 7-9, something like that. The fact that he was even decent in a poor AFC East. I mean, you have Buffalo, Miami, and the Jets are. But he could have done it. Now, Trubisky, I'm not. I watched Trubisky. I'm a Tar Heel guy. I watched Trubisky when he played in North Carolina, and I liked Trubisky. I thought he was good. I didn't think he was ready to be a pro quarterback coming out of college. And then for the Bears to trade up to get him, I said, you're putting too much on this kid. He has not had. It's similar to Haskins. Haskins had 1 year. There's something for guys. It's not easy to do the Kobe thing and the Dwight Howard and these guys and Tracy McGrady that just come from high school, skip college. You can't, especially in football, you cannot do that. To have 1 year, you might have a Gurley or a Fournette who are just physical freaks who can play 1 or 2 years and then go to the pros. From the quarterback and somebody that plays in a conference that's not. I mean, you have Clemson now that's powerhouse, but the ACC is not that prominent conference to come out of. Trubisky just wasn't NFL ready. Now, Nagy and the Chicago Bears, who I've also watched, aren't helping that. Trubisky play. I'm just saying he needs a lot more to help him in the NFL. The Bears just might not be it for him. I do think, and we have to end it, man. This conversation is going so well, but we're already past 90 minutes. But I do think I want to get your opinion real quick on one quarterback that earlier, Dak Prescott. The potential of franchise tagging him, but he could potentially be a free agent. If he is, do we take that chance? Do we go after him? Adam, let you go, and then Will, you can follow.
Absolutely. Like I'm all hands in, especially if we don't have to trade a first round pick for him. Fuck yeah! Like it's all about that. Like I'm all about Dak Prescott. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, Dak Prescott, like you already like he's not a mobile quarterback, but he's got some legs. And all you have to do is build an offensive line around this man. And honestly, he's throwing to everybody and their mama. So honestly, that's what we need to do. That, like, honestly, it's literally that. Once this man has an offensive line in front of him and a good running back, bro, it's a wrap. And then think about it. Like he had 3 potential number one. He had one alpha, one bravo, one Charlie, wide receiver. Like it's not 1, 2, 3. It's one alpha, one Charlie, one bravo, wide receivers. That's it. If we can do the same thing, I'm trying to tell you, he probably might be the first 6,000 quarterback.
Woo! He has a year like he had this year. Mm-hmm. Will?
I mean, he got hurt, but like I'm trying to tell you, if we pay attention to the players, like you know what I'm saying, like I was talking about before, if we can pay attention to the players and actually do what they need and what and we can provide what they ask of for them to succeed fully, I'm trying to tell you, man. Like Dak Prescott can do. He could probably be the first 6,000 quarterback. No bullshit.
I can see it. I can see it. Well, what you think?
Well, I would like Prescott for the idea, just like you said, you're not spending a first round pick, which goes against what I've said, but it's the idea you do have the opportunity to add some pieces. I don't know, something about him. I've talked with folks about watching his film, and someone pointed out, if you notice, watch how many times his receivers are open, and how often is he throwing a guy open versus the guy's open and he's hitting him. So is that really gonna basically, it's like he gets the easy stuff, and then also, he's had some friggin' horses in Dallas with him. He hands the ball off to Ezekiel and Elliott. He had that offensive line when he came in with all those studs. Now, they all have been hurt and retired and all that at this point. And he's been thrown to Des Bryant, Amari Cooper. They picked up that dude from Oklahoma this year. He's never had a bad cast of players around him. And just wondering, does that elevate? Is he a representation of who's around him? And to me, it goes back to, if Dallas is willing to let him go for $35 million a year, again, why isn't Dallas giving him the money then? What do they know as to why they would let a franchise quarterback leave?
If I want to interject real quick. It's not that they don't want to sign him. They want to sign him. It's just they can't agree on the length of the contract. Dak wants a 3-year contract. They want to sign him to like a 4 or 5-year contract, and that just gives them more control over Dak in the long run. So it's not about them not wanting to sign him to a long-term contract. It's just a matter of fact that they literally they want to keep him longer, and he wants to just get his money like Kirk Cousins.
Right. I think young enough to where I would have some excitement, but I just go back to, if you're a franchise willing to let him go, then you obviously feel like what he brings to the table is replaceable.
Honestly,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll finish up after you.
To me, it's I think that's one aspect. I just don't think that you can hold that as like the main reason. Like, at a certain time and place, you really have to consider the money aspect, the business aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really just can't be like, oh, I'm going to let you go, and so you're not worth it, and that's why other teams should think the same way. Nah, it's literally, this is better for the team. I want to do it this way for the team, and it's better, like, cap-wise, too. You really got to, like, a lot of people don't put a lot into it, but cap-wise, a longer contract would spread out the money more than anything. But if you're on a 3-year contract, literally, he's getting, like, that's what, $40 million every year. Like, there's no room to spread that out at all.
Right.
And so, and then Dallas, and just like you said, Dallas has some ballers, bro. Like, like, I hate that team, but they always got ballers that they gotta pay.
Yeah.
Right. And see, and then that asks two questions. Number one, that asks, is Dak Prescott, because you see the kind of contract he wants, and that's the one thing that Janae, shout out to Janae, my co-host on Let's Talk Football, that's one thing that she kept saying, pay the man 40. Pay the man 40. But then you ask the question, is Dak Prescott worth 40 mil? Like, you know what I mean? Like, as you said, Abdul, if he gets franchise tag 37 this year, would it be something like that? So you're pushing him up to 40. He's won one playoff game. He has been surrounded by studs. You know, and the worst thing that happened was that he got hurt. Because this year he was – I honestly think he could have got – if they would have stayed the way they were, even though they weren't winning, he could have got to 5,000, if not higher. He was thrown out of his mind. Now, it was those Kirk Cousins yards where it was in the second half where we're already down by whatever, so we're playing catch-up. But he still –
Dallas would have won the division, bro.
Right.
I'm being hunted. Like, Dallas would have won the division if Dak was there.
Oh yeah, because we the rest of us were all awful.
Yeah.
I mean, he was at least legit.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, you got anything else to say? I'm cutting it, man. Because look, I could talk to you guys all night long. All right, I'm cutting it. Okay, we got to go. Yo, this has been the second episode of Washington Football Weekly. And before we go, we got to shout out the fourth member of the team, Anton. He had to work. Hey, got to make that money. So he'll definitely be with us next week, man. We look forward to that. We got to my main man Will for coming on the show, dropping the facts, dropping the knowledge, going in depth. And then and I can't forget, man, Mr. DK Metcalf hair. Mr. I put on clothes if I want to. Mr. Abdul Lowe. Let's go. Hey, you know who I am, man. I'm your host, Sean Spencer, man. And hey, this has been absolutely fun. Next week, Wednesday, same time, same place. We'll be here, man. Peace, guys.
Let's go. Talk to you later. Out.